Okay, so I just wanted to showcase a slight bug. Um, I just got a brand new 4K monitor, so I wanted to see if the game would play in a 3440 by 1440 resolution. It does, and it's beautiful. However, there's some problems that prevents me from playing it in this resolution. So, as you can see, sometimes I get a tooltip. Sometimes the tooltip for items in your inventory doesn't really work. It works it works for these. On the bottom row, but like on some things that are bigger than just one inventory slot, and even these that are as big as one inventory slot, you don't get a tooltip for. It's very sporadic. But it's say I wanted to try and move this cloak. I left click it and it falls on the ground. I can move around just fine and cast spells just fine. But anytime you try and interact with the inventory, it just drops things on the ground. If I try and like equip a weapon, it'll work, but if I left click something, it drops it on the ground. It doesn't happen all the times, but sometimes as well. If I try and like, okay, it looks like some incremental progress has been made on the UI since I last played. Because before, when I would interact with some of the GUIs, it was like the GUIs were click through. So I'd left click on some of them, and I would move on the ground. See? That shouldn't be happening, I feel like. I'm clicking on my inventory, and it thinks I'm telling it to move. I'll try and interact with some of the other GUIs as well. Yeah. So when I left with that GUI, it does the same thing. If I was to like level up my constitution or power, it thinks I'm clicking on the ground somewhere. This GUI seems to not be click through, even if I click along the borders. So that one seems to be okay. So does that one. So it looks like the character panel is somehow click through, and you can see it clicking on the ground there as I left click on the character panel. And also in the inventory. Sometimes. Not all the time. So like right now it's not doing it. Oh, there it did. If I click this slot, it's trying to move me. What's weird is... That's strange. So like even if I try and click on the ground over here, I can't move. Because my inventory's open. And then I do it, and I can. So what it appears like to me is that like the UI is displaying sometimes what it looks like, at least, is the UI, the inventory is graphically, it looks like it's in one place, but the game or the engine thinks it's somewhere else. So like here it doesn't think that there's a inventory open. Over here it does. And you can see if I left click, yeah, see? Left click, left click, left click, left click, left click, left click, left click. There it moves. Over here it moves. And then I can move right here off the inventory, But if I try and click over here, left click, 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 the entire right side of the screen, I can't move over here while the inventory is open. But down here I can. Over here I can't. So it's almost as if it thinks the inventory is open over here on this side of the screen or something, when it's not. I'm not really sure. And there's a problem of anytime you left click something and pick it up and try and drop it into another inventory slot. See, that one worked. That worked. Okay. And I'll show the difference when I move it to a different resolution. This resolution seems to do okay. See, I left click on something and it picks it up on my cursor. Left click, picks up on my cursor. Left click, picks up my cursor. The inventory isn't clicked through. Over here it is. That's how it should respond. This is still a little bit, you can still click through this a little bit, which I feel like shouldn't happen. Left click, picks it up on my cursor. Change the resolution. Left click, it drops it. So there's something going on here. I'm not really sure what it is, but it makes this resolution unplayable as it stands. So I just wanted to provide some feedback on that, and hopefully it's not a something that's too complicated to fix, so that I can enjoy this in my new 4K monitor.